I'm Lindsay Smith with RealAgriculture, joined today by Clara Hughes here at Farm Tech. Thank you for joining us, Clara. I was just saying that I too am from Winnipeg, and so we can bond about this later. But of course we don't both live there now, so this is wonderful. All right, so most Canadians would probably identify you as a former Olympian. Very proud moments for us, but also a huge proponent for mental health. Tell me, how did you get involved with Bell Let's Talk Day?
It was really an instance of me asking to be a part of the campaign. I found out about the campaign after the Vancouver Olympics, and I found out that Bell, this huge company, was going to take on mental health and really work on breaking down the stigma attached to mental health in Canada. Mm-hmm. I have a lived experience. I went through depression as a young athlete. Mental illness runs in my family. I've had teammates who have struggled with their mental health. Friends, family, it really is everyone. So I asked to be a part of it, and just in any way, shape, and form, because I thought I had a story to share that could maybe help somebody else. And 7 years later, it's really, the conversation has grown every single year. And I'm not telling the same story. It's a different story for me because I've been on this healing path. As much as I've learned to advocate and talk about it, it's been an incredible 7 years of healing as well.
And so I think, for most of us, if we think about either a personal experience or a close family friend or family member, and that is one of my questions, of course. Within agriculture, we have farmers who live often very remotely, under very high stress situations, and mental health typically isn't an event. This is something that is lifelong.
Yes.
How do you maintain sort of balance and mental health, mental wellness? What are the components of that?
I think you have to work on it, just like your physical health. If you don't use your body, you lose your body. It's the same with your mental health. And I think it's so important that people that are in isolated working environments make sure that they seek out environments that balance that out. And also, in the sense of the agricultural community, I always think of really stoic people, strong, quiet, work hard and get it done. And it reminds me of a sport, of athletes. Right. And as an athlete, I really struggled as a young athlete, particularly having so much success and yet feeling like I was so weak because I was sick and I didn't know how to deal with it, and I thought I would just train harder, I'd win more races, and that would make me better. Right. It would cure depression, and it didn't. Right. And so in that sense, I think it's important to know that nobody can take on a health situation, a form of mental illness or a physical illness. You can't cure cancer or diabetes.
Just by working harder.
Exactly. So it's the same thing. And I think it's just important to realize that you're not alone and that there's help. And it's not, for everybody to shout out loud publicly, like, hey, I'm dealing with this. Mm-hmm. But it's important to talk to one person. It starts there, and it helps you open up and realize that there is help in the community. And there's a lot of, I've learned from the different ag sectors in Canada, there's so much support from the churches, from community groups, from hospitals. And it's a matter of finding what's there, and maybe you can help yourself, but also you can help someone else.
Right, and so, we as a company are very active on social media, and for a lot of farmers, social media has become sort of that network and community that, geographically maybe isn't there, but to reach out. And so something like Bell Let's Talk Day, obviously leverages that as well. How do we put that awareness? Because certainly I would say it's been a phenomenal campaign for raising the bar on just awareness and having those conversations and maybe even cluing into some of your own issues or things like that. But how do we move past talking and into action?
It really means, what I've learned the most from this campaign the last 7 years is to become a good listener. Listening is such a big part of the equation because for an individual, their doctor's not going to be the first person they talk to. It might be a friend, it might be someone that they trust. Or it might be the doctor, whoever it is, make sure that if somebody is sharing with you something profound, some form of struggle that they've never talked about before, that you open up your ears and your heart and you listen, you don't judge, you don't give advice, you don't be like, hey, we'll just work harder, or I know this helps someone. Just listen and let that person finish. And also within the community, find out what's available. Find out what is there. And if in your community or even remotely, there's much that you can do with the internet, remote therapy, all of those things are available. But if it isn't there, make it happen. Start a movement, start an initiative, and it can be something really small. And I think the things that are the most powerful are the grassroots. I did a big ride for mental health awareness in 2014, and one of my favorite stops was in Claresholm, Alberta, and it was like this small community. We met in the park in the center of town. All kinds of people came out, and they were members of an organization, grassroots organization initiative called the Prairie Winds Clubhouse. And all of the members made me this beautiful book of poetry, of art, and that was their outlet in the community. So there's really great things everywhere. And you know, it's not even for somebody helping themselves, it's helping others in the community and giving them an outlet to reach out, to express themselves. And that's the beginning of healing for a lot of people.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then I'm also going to ask, which is your favorite of the sports that you competed at?
Oh, I mean, I always dreamed of being a speed skater when I was 16.
Yeah.
And I ended up being a bike racer randomly for like 3 Olympics. So I'm going to say I was always kind of faking it as a cyclist. But I also won't skate again because it's too hard. I get on hockey skates. You can turn both ways.
Yeah.
And you don't have to get in that skating position, and I'll ride my bike for the rest of my life. But as an athlete, skating.
Okay. All right. Thank you.